service door, and it can just pretty much hold off a plant on its own.
Well, let's see what we're going to be dealing with. We're moving into the banning phase right now. Rascasse on defense first, so they're going to get the opportunity to ban an attacker first. Now, they're not so, it doesn't appear as though they're so decisive in this decision. Maybe they're discussing it, maybe they've already got it figured out and they're just waiting for the timer to run down anyway. But they're going to make full use of every second that is available to them to make this decision. And we are going to see, drumroll please, Eric and Blackbeard.
Oh,
it's
out
going to
comes
be
the
a dog.
Dorker. Not too much of a surprise. That's just a meta ban, really, I think. Doc will be coming in absolutely clutch at times with those phone calls. I'll give you that one, though. You come in with the Blackbeard.
I'll take it.
Blackbeard there's so many useful places for Blackbeard on coastline. Double window of penthouse absolutely dominates, but it can be used at VIP window, it can be used on hooker window, so many places. There's the Valk. I predicted it for coastline. Sorry, for consular. I didn't quite get away with that one. So I predicted it for consular. It's no surprise on coastline either. You can belt those cams out, even on the current live build that we're playing on. There's the Echo that I predicted. You can still get those cams onto the walls of the ruins, and again, they can be absolutely deadly, particularly for blue bar sunrise, particularly for hooker, for billiards, for any push around there. The Valk cams can be very, very useful. So no surprise to see a Valk band out here either. And then the Echo, which is super popular. And Mirror coming straight in to that lineup.
And we are going to see a slight variation to the lineup that we suggested in the pre-game. We've got Voy. He's going to be switching in places for RX this week. So just to clear up any confusion that may or may not have been knocking around there, he's going to be taking the Vigil on this first defensive round of kitchen and service. We're going to see a Ying on a 6-pick potentially, but not confirmed yet. That's going to be the Monty dropped in favour of the Ying. And we're going to see that's a pretty big switch. That you're going from arguably the best roamer in the game in Vigil to arguably the best anchor in the game in Maestro, just on the flick of a switch. But as we've said, it is going to be filling in this week, so maybe just trying to fill whichever role it is that his team need him to perform, I guess.
Falco moving in early and putting in some serious shots. Voy as well with the shotgun pistol, and they're just opening up those lines of sight, and that would suggest strongly to me that we're going to have a top floor presence. Yogurt's heading up there, and Renshiro on the mirror just going to be setting himself up downstairs, obviously. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to see a strong presence upstairs for this one. They're certainly going to want to hold them out of penthouse and out of VIP, not only because you deny the option to attack from those locations, just because it's so powerful to attack from those locations. So as defenders, get yourself up there, and then when they try to push site, if you can keep yourself in penthouse and VIP and keep yourselves alive, you can have a field day if they try to push service door, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a good place to play yourself, as providing you've got a little bit of presence down on the site as well, just so that it's not like a walk in and a give me. But Blur there just going to be holding an angle. Didn't realise how close he was there to melting through an unsuspecting victim in bathroom. Falco going to pick up an early kill onto Fipsy. PX going to trade it straight back out, and Voy going to come in with a kill onto PX. Very quick exchange there, and that's a lot of utility lost off Epsilon. They've lost a Capitao and they've lost a Ying, and they've not really got all too much for it. They've just taken out an Alibi, who is a roamer, whose job it basically is to waste time, but the utility loss there is really going to hurt Epsilon, especially when it comes into later on in the round.
Yogurt's just keeping himself upstairs in VIP then. He's got Liven with him, and they're going to try to hold them out for as long as possible. I'm sure they'll keep those challenges going. They won't waste their life, but they'll certainly want to take one if they can. And perfectly timed for me, Yogurt steps up and gets the kill onto Shermy. And then bullets will rain through from the Ash, but not quite enough from Milon. He only takes half health off Yogurt's, and he will live to fight another day. Rotates himself back into penthouse, him and Liven just making a real nuisance of themselves before they drop. Renshiro stepping up with the kill onto Blur, and that leaves Milan with it all to do on the Ash, 1 versus 4, and this is not going to be easy at all. I think that was shots onto Renshiro on the mirror. Milan still not sure if there's anybody upstairs, but there is not. Yogurts and Liven dropped quite a while ago, and they've just reverted back to site, and I think that's a great game plan, to be honest, there from Rascasse, is just get themselves back onto site. You know, they've got a 4-on-1 advantage. They need to do nothing here. Milan doesn't have the diffuser. They can just sit and wait. They know, in fact, I'd guess that they know from Renshiro's position that the diffuser's down outside a kitchen window, so they're just waiting for him to approach it now.
Yeah, Milan's got a big job here. He's not. It does look as though the Rascasse aren't going to give anything away for free, even though they've got a massive man count here. They know the kind of player that they're up against, and Milan is no stranger to picking up kills back to back to back, and especially with an operator like Ash, you've definitely got that potential to be able to do so. So he's just trying to break this down into 1v1s, but as you say, Rascasse rotated fully back down onto site. Still 30 seconds on the clock, but Milan's really going to be left with nowhere to go. I'm sure that Rascasse have got a pretty good idea of where he is in terms of map location, and he is going to be just playing a hatch there, maybe down onto not Liven, but Liven not really giving anything away at all. No need to challenge in this scenario, and this is just going to be a case of running the clock down. Great patience shown by Rascasse. First round in the books for them.
Absolutely no messing about. Not Liven steps up and gets that final kill on stairs, and that will be a clinical performance, I think it's fair to say, from Rascasse on the kitchen. Absolutely dominant, no question about it whatsoever. Out of interest, X, do you know what Rascasse means?
I did Google it last night, and I found a nice looking restaurant.
Well, it's interesting.
It's something a little bit deeper
you say that. Yeah, Rascasse. It means it's a type of scorpion fish, but it is also a bar in Monaco, and it's a favourite bar of Yogurts, and I think that's where the name might have come from. So there you go, just a little bit of interest for you. As we move into round number 2, we are going to see a blue bar and Sunrise hold. Not too much of a surprise, seeing as that we've got Mirror on the board. Renshiro will be picking that one up again, and we're going to see Voy. It's Voy every time here, just tricking out. He's gone from the Maestro onto the castle this time, and it'll be interesting as always to see where those castles get placed. If you come in with a plan, we've said it countless times before. I'll quote him. He loves to say, "If you bring a castle, you know what you're doing." And we don't always see that being the truth, but I get the feeling that there's definitely a plan in place for these castles from Voy here.
You can't tell me that I'm wrong with that. It's a fact. If you see a team bringing a castle, they know what they're doing with it. I will sort of maybe add like a small disclaimer for this one, purely because Voy is a pickup. He maybe doesn't know exactly where these castles are going, and there could be a little bit of confusion. Obviously, there's something to communicate there in this short prep phase while a lot of other stuff is going on. Typically, I mean, we saw it in the previous round. We saw Jules bringing a castle on the clubhouse almost every single round on defending downstairs lockers, and the plan seemed to work pretty well most of the time. It certainly did its job, and I don't think it was, the reason for any rounds that perhaps failed. So we'll just have to see how this one plays out. But I'm pretty sure that the castle pick's pretty strong here. It always does work well when defending blue bar to bring the castle, especially in conjunction with the mirror, because the mirror that's played downstairs just provides quite a lot of information down onto the corridor and obviously back into sight.
I honestly thought the disclaimer was going to be, unless I'm the one bringing castle, because then there's generally not too much of an idea behind it. No, I meant me personally, not you. We all know that you don't play Castle X. Ash Jägerman. So Ash, Milan just moving into top floor, going to start clearing out up there. Shermie on the drone for Epsilon, and they get control of VIP quite easily, but it's not really going to be VIP that's being held too hard. It's going to be Hooker and Billiards, as they are the rooms above that blue bar and Sunrise site. Voy just making a nuisance of himself there on the castle. We can see Yogurts with the Jaeger also moving himself onto Cool Vibes, and then rotating back into Hooker. We've got 3 on the top floor from Rascasse here, and they are keen to challenging that Hibana out on DJ booth. So far, there's 3 pushing, and they are stacked up. Epsilon have to be careful here. We've got PX, Milon, and I think it's Fipsy just in there. Renshiro gets the first, and that leaves 2. And I tell you what, those other 2 will drop quickly. How about that for a kill from Renshiro, though? That's in a hole that's been opened up in the floor. He's actually hit that from Sunrise Bar. That's a fantastic kill. Milon moving in and taking the Jaeger off the board. So it's all starting to happen now as PX gets a second, and that will be Falco going off the board with the Legion, so that will be some lost utility as well. We've got Liven on the dock just juicing himself back up as he'd lost some HP. He will still be short of full complement, and in comes the asphyxiating bolt to take him back down to about 25. We are 4 versus 3, and pressure is starting to mount against Rascasse here as the attack from Epsilon starts to reach site.
I think the pressure's certainly mounting, but I think that Rascasse are doing a very good job of dealing with it. They're not really overexposing themselves all too much, but a great deal of map control has been given over to Epsilon, and it's all about how they act on this now. You just see their Void just getting away without even taking a bullet, and I think he did manage to put some bullets down onto Shermie on the Hibana. Void going to pick up a kill onto Blur. Void playing a very loose role in that back server area, and he picks up another one onto PX. Milon is going to get a call out of where he is though and take him down in the atrium for his troubles. Renshaw now left to try and deny the plant, picks up the kill onto Shermie, picks up another one onto Milon. 2 headshots with the Vector to close out that round. Rascasse looking very good in these early opening rounds on Coastline.
Rascasse are making me scared about thinking about getting back on Siege. They're looking pretty solid so far. Renshiro coming out with the big mirror plays there. Triple kill. Picked up the first one from Sunrise Bar all the way up into Aquarium. Not always the easiest thing to do with the Vector particularly. And then gets the 2 kills at the end to finish it off there. I thought Epsilon had just managed to build themselves some good momentum there. They took some decent control upstairs, but they just failed to deal with Voy. Voy got in, got the other 2 kills that went down, and I think Voy did a very, very important job there just to delay that. So it meant that Epsilon were pushing site with about 20 seconds left to go. They had to rush it at that point, which allowed Renshiro to do what Renshiro does on Mirror, and that was to pick up the final kills.
So moving on to round number 3, we are of course going to see a different bomb site due to the rotation parameter. Going to be going upstairs into Penthouse and and Theatre. Penthouse and Theatre. Like you say, Void there providing a very good sort of time-wasting, utility-based operator role and picking up a couple of kills in the progress. I definitely thought that Epsilon were going to come out of this a little bit stronger and maybe, get a couple more kills in the early stages, but I think that first round that they've got seems to have really hit them, where they lost a couple of guys early on, and then it was kind of just left to Milon to run around for a minute and a half before, trying to make something happen before the inevitable. But I think that Rascasse is doing a good job of kind of capitalising on that and taking some good early rounds. I really like the way that they're playing. They're playing very loose in the sense that they're choosing the locations that they want to try and protect throughout the site. Renshiro there getting himself into a pretty ropey first engagement there with Castle and with Blur on Capital and Milon on Ash. That's not somewhere you want to be with the Vector. But yeah, I think that Epsilon just need to kind of regain a little bit of composure here, figure out how they're going to push this site. It is a bit easier maybe to push into Penthouse, obviously depending on how it's played from the defenders, but Milon there just missing out on the headshot onto Liven. Liven eating quite a bit of damage in the process of that little peek, but he is going to know where Milon is, so he's not going to make that mistake of peeking that again, surely. Fipsy is in billiards. He's making his way into the room and just deciding whether to peek around that corner or not, maybe just waiting for a bit of information. We've got PX and Shermie. They're going to be opening up the south floor. I'm not sure how PX didn't get that kill there. I think he may have been stuck in the Candela throwing animation. Candela's come out. Falco picking up a kill onto Fipsy. It did look as though Fipsy was blind in that process. I'm not sure where he was in and amongst those kills coming out live in there. Just peeking out into sight, destroying the mirrors and making it so that they're able to play into Theatre from Penthouse. Something that's always worth doing if you can. If you can destroy the mirrors, they are just going to work against you in that scenario. So it is always better to kind of get rid of them if you can. Milan sat downstairs watching a flank. Falco going to pick up a kill onto PX. That's Ying out of the picture. Candelas did just come out though, so a little bit of utility there on the dying Ying. Milan going to pick up a kill onto Falco. Yogurt's going to take one back onto Milan. The Vector there just struggling a little bit at that long range. Blur escaping with very little health. Shermie picking up the kill onto Yogurt's on the rotate. Quickly this has turned into a 2 versus 3. Blur is very lit. Smoke grenades are going to start coming out. All it will take is for Blur to get a little bit of smoke on him, but no, Voy is going to use the SMG-11 instead. We've now got an interesting scenario where we've got Mirror actually on the rotate, trying to provide a bit of a flank, just causing a bit of a distraction. Live in there going to pick up that final kill on the Jaeger. And that's going to be another great round in the book for the Rascasse. Can't argue with that.
Cannot argue with that indeed. Epsilon coming in and getting that theatre wall open well, but they're not really doing anything with it. You know, they sort of got it open. As you said, very, very good decision to open those mirrors, flip round to the other side, and yep, you don't have the protection of the glass in place anymore, but that said, they still use them to great effect and just basically wore Epsilon down. You know, they were the rock that Epsilon's waves crashed against, and, you know, no matter what they tried, it just didn't seem to pan out for them. You had Fipsy moving in through the billiards, trying to get into some VIP, and I think that could have probably been a bit more pivotal if he got himself through into VIP, maybe into sort of, you know, Hall of Fame, and just being able to put some pressure on from that side when they're trying to play the penthouse side of the mirrors, then maybe we've got a different situation. But Rascasse aware as always, and they stepped up and got him taken out, and that allowed them to concentrate on the theatre side push, and that was pretty much that.
That was pretty much that. I think just saw the scoreboard then. There's 2 players on the Rascasse with no deaths and 1 player with only 1 death. So that really goes to show just how well they're doing in terms of making sure they're peaking things that they can win, making sure that they're not kind of over-peaking, overexposing, taking the gunfights that they know that they're going to be able to come out on top of. Obviously, it's not all about kills and siege, but up to this point, we haven't really seen... we've not really seen the diffuser go down in the sense that we saw it go down quite a couple of times in the last game that we watched this evening. So, if you're not going to get the diffuser down, you're going to have to get the kills. And if you're not getting the kills, you ain't going to win the round if you ain't getting the diffuser down. So, Epsilon there maybe just needing to try and do just that. It does look as though they've brought the Jackal this time. That will provide them some smoke grenades, which is only a good thing when it comes to trying to get this diffuser down. And we're going to see Shermie on the Finker. Finker, not an operator that you see used every day, although we did see him used to pretty good effect recently at DreamHack by none other than G2, although they did use him in conjunction with a Blitz, which does make the Blitz pretty powerful in the way that the Blitz is able to then drop his shield quickly and get into an aim down sight situation on a pistol. But no Blitz this time for Epsilon. They're opting for no shields. Yings are going to be coming out, and drone work going to be coming out as well. That's going to be a nice little bit of drone work there, as the Twitch drone is able to open the mirror and just push Liven out of theatre, or at least the back of theatre. And Liven not really going to expose himself too well. Liven, one of the guys that's on a very low amount of deaths, so you can see there just how well he's doing in terms of not exposing himself. Renshiro, they're going to pick up a beautiful C4 kill onto PX. So Ying losing a lot of utility off the board again pretty early on. The Candelas haven't really got him much there. I don't think anyone was really holding VIP or Hall of Fame too heavily. We've got Liven. He's managed to drop himself down and stay alive downstairs, although big shots there coming in onto Yogurts. Yogurts is going to rotate off that to fight another day.
Something that he proved he does very well so far. I've been impressed with Yogurt's ability to do that, to know when to challenge and when to back away and just, get the fight back on his terms again. We've got Liven still in behind that reception desk, and now it looks like Epsilon have got the top floor control, as you've said. They're going to start jackling there and get somebody on the track, but Voight moves in meanwhile and gets that Maestro headshot on to Shermie, so that will take the Finker off the board. I think the boost had possibly just come in before that point, and he just needs to be careful here as Voight. He is on track and he is running around below them, so he's just gonna, I don't know if he's actually using this quite carefully to run around just below them, keep himself out of sight, but it's doing enough just to tantalise them, just to bait them to keep looking. And now look at the clock, 45 seconds remaining, not too much progress on site, and they have to start rushing. Fipsy does get a good kill onto the Maestro. Milan with a second onto the Ranchiro. So that will be 3 versus 3 now. Voy has been downed as the Maestro but not killed. That will be live and downed as well. We are now with Fipsy getting the kill into a effective 2 versus 3 situation. Yogurts is super lit and only 1 bullet away from death, but with 20 seconds, can Rascasse play this out? The diffuser is down, however. That's a great decision. Fipsy moves in and finalises that kill onto Voy, so that leaves us now 3 versus 2 for real, and Blur will get the kill onto Falco, and that leaves Yogurts with about 5 or 10 HP and a dream upstairs. It doesn't matter, as Blur gets the view from below. Final kill comes in, and that will be the first round to Epsilon. 3-1 now.
Epsilon did a great job of picking that round up. I think that reinforcement downstairs in bathroom maybe just worked against Rascasse a little bit in those final few seconds as the diffuser was going down. It did provide pretty safe passage for Epsilon to get the diffuser planted and ultimately put the pressure back onto Rascasse in terms of, you know, the pressure of trying to defuse that diffuser. So yeah, great round from Epsilon. Let's see if they can build on it now. We're going to see a Glass brought out on Shermie, and we are going to be going down to Blue Bar and Sunrise. Now this bomb site previously, I believe it was Voy that brought the castle. Is he going to 6-pick maybe into the castle again? You can see the scoreboard there. We've got good kills from Ranchiro and Voy, and like I said, a very low amount of deaths on Team Rascasse, apart from maybe Falco hitting 4. But good round from Epsilon, and I think this is now somewhere that they've got to maybe build from, and ultimately try to come out of this first attacking phase with at least a couple of rounds in the book.
Great prediction from X there, as the 6th pick comes in from Voy and puts him onto Castle. It was pretty much him and Ranchiro that defended this site last time around. Ranchiro with a triple kill and Voy with a double, so I'm sure they'll be looking to do similar. They were pretty clinical up here, and I didn't feel that Epsilon ever got anywhere near, really. They didn't put any real challenge onto site. 3 of them pushed in through Aquarium, so we'll see if they choose to just change that up or not. I think if they do try the same thing, they're going to struggle a little bit, because I'm guessing that Rascasse are going to be more than ready for that. Ranchiro just setting up down there in the Sunrise bar area again.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of difference so far. Obviously, the way that Epsilon attacked Kitchen the first round, it was pretty run and gun. They kind of lost 2 guys in Sunrise pretty early on, and I think that was maybe a bit of a, not maybe a shock, but just something for them to think about. Obviously, they attacked Kitchen a lot differently second time. Castle barricade, they're going to get blown straight up by Milan on the Ash, and he's going to take a pretty aggressive stance on the window straight away, just jumping onto Repel, although it does appear as though we've got somebody downstairs in Blue Bar on Ranchiro, but PX is going to trade him straight back out, so he's off the table. Now this looks like a different Epsilon to what we've seen so far. Very convicting in the way that they're moving through the map. They're kind of moving as a team. It seems like they all know what they're doing. We've got smoke grenades coming out already. Shermie on the Glass is going to be doing a little bit of drone work. No doubt should be jumping off and getting on that thermal scope just to see if there's anything. You can see he managed to get a great wall bang there onto Yogurts, and no doubt that was information that he picked up whilst he was on his drone, although Voy is in a good position to start trying to pull off a little bit of a flank, but with Glass watching it, it's going to be very difficult. Gumines there coming in clutch, just delaying PX's push into the site, although good site control has now been gained. Good upstairs control has now been gained, and it's going to be all about how Epsilon are able to work on this upstairs control and move down onto the site and ultimately execute a plant, which didn't very well last time. Getting the plant down was very key last time into their success. Going to get a lot of utility getting thrown out, and I really like to see it, because it does make your job a little bit easier as an attacker if you use to your advantage the things that you've got at your disposal. Fipsy there, going to pick up a quick kill, but Voy trading it back out and picking up PX, so no more Jackal tracks, but I think that his smoke grenades have largely been used at this point. Shermie going to pick up a kill onto Live, and so it's going to be all down to Voy on the castle to try and do something here now. The diffuser surely should be going down at some point. He is, of course, flashed right now. Shermie there getting the plant down, and this is going to make Voy's job all that more difficult. Fipsy they're going to pick up the final kill with the F12, and that's going to be another round in the book for Epsilon. So building on that momentum and doing a great job of really working together as a team, and this is a totally different Epsilon to the Epsilon that we saw in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, momentum are key. a key there, as you said. As soon as they got one kill, it spurred them on to more. I'm not sure if Renshiro's maybe a little bit too aggressive there. Challenging that blue bar window is always going to be risky, especially when there was 3 guns outside of it and 1 on rappel. I could only really see that ending one way. But to be fair to Renshiro, I didn't really see the build up to him being caught in that position. So, whether he was mid-rotate or something like that when he got caught out there and he just had to fight the fight, I don't know. But it did put them on the back foot very early, remembering that Renshiro got a very good triple kill from behind those mirrors last time, and did manage to hold them off for a long time. It just put them on the back foot a little bit, but Epsilon, not to take anything away from them, they capitalised, and like you say, as soon as 1 kill turned into 2 to 3 to 4, and they did very, very well to close fire out at the end there, get the diffuser down, focus on the job at hand. Excellent plays, and that's great resilience from Epsilon. They've come back there and they've won two sites that they've already lost today. They've come back and they've got 2 good wins there, and that's not easy to do when the rounds have been won in convincing fashion earlier by Rascasse as well. So you've got to be coming back there wondering, what do we have to do? And they've just shown us exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Epsilon are playing with a little bit more conviction, and they're playing with a little bit more calculated aggressiveness. I think the aggressiveness that we saw on the first round when they kind of ran into Sunrise Bar and got cut down was, maybe not the best idea. Obviously, there were things that they could have done in terms of drone work to gain a bit more information before pushing in that way. And it just seems as though they're working a little bit better as a team now. You could see the way that they were pushing out people and the way that they were working together. There was a lot of utility being thrown around for everyone to make good use of. I think there was smokes to cover, there was smokes for glass to look through, so it really does make the job a little bit easier when you're all pulling in the same direction. And I'm sure that's something that we're going to see them continue to do, because as we've seen, they are a very good and capable side. Got a heavy defensive upstairs in VIP coming out now, as we've got a lot of pressure from Epsilon in trying to get that, but not Liven is going to pick up a great kill onto the glass. That's going to be Shermy. He is going to pay his price with his life as Fipsy picks up Liven, but 2 kills in quick succession there. Yogurt's going to take out PX, but Milon ultimately going to trade it back out. So we're in a 3 versus 3. I can't really tell who's come off the better in that scenario. We've lost a Glaz and a Jackal on the attackers, but a Legion and a Jaeger on the defense. I think maybe this is going to favour Rascasse, although Legion mines can be critical in the final few seconds. And that was a little bit of an explosive burst of the round that just seems to have died down just a little bit as Blur's taking some upstairs control and getting some vertical play going. And no doubt Renshiro going to be looking to one of his teammates to try and make a rotate upstairs to try and do something about this verticality.
Yeah, looking back at my notes from the first 2 rounds that we've seen on Kitchen, the big difference and where Epsilon gained success was when they managed to gain top floor control, which they've done here. So, the question there of who's come out of that situation better, on the face of it, I'd have to say Epsilon. It's given them that top floor control that they used so successfully last time. Renshiro going for the nitro toss, but he won't even, make any damage on anybody. It's all down to Epsilon now to really start using this verticality. If they can pick a kill up from up here, get themselves into a man advantage, then I think they're looking pretty good. We've got Milon there, just coming towards Renshiro, possibly going to come together. I'm not sure if they know that each other are there. Oh, and there's the kills. It trades out, but Renshiro's going to get the kill onto Milon. That is a great battle for Renshiro to win, and that is exactly what Rascasse needed. And I tell you what, if they needed anything else, it was Falcout stepping out, getting the kill onto Blur, Void finishing it off, and I think that kill from Renshiro just spurred them on a little bit. They were already sort of on the way to pushing upstairs, and they just spurred them on to go that little bit further and to step up and get those kills. But great round there from Rascasse to win that, even though they lost top floor control.
Yeah, I think we both concluded there that Epsilon came off a little bit better in that engagement purely because Rascasse lost the Legion and a good roamer in the Jaeger. So interesting to see Rascasse be able to turn the tide and prove us wrong there and pick that final round up. And I think it was all about how they rotated back upstairs, because what you'll often see is that teams can get a little bit sort of tunnel visioned on the fact that they've got upstairs control and they're going to open up the floor. But in reality, if the defenders then vacate the site and start trying to rotate up Cool Vibe stairs or south stairs, then there's no one in the site for you to shoot at, and all of a sudden defenders can be upstairs, creeping in, crouch walking, slow walking, getting angles on you coming out of VIP, and all of a sudden, you know, there's been a bit of a switch around there, and I think that was a really good show of calculated aggression from Rascasse to, you know, make that play and to rotate out of sight and say, well, they're going to stay upstairs and trying to get a kill on us, we're going to rotate upstairs and we're going to get the kill on them. Epsilon opting to go straight into blue bar, whereas we did see Rascasse tend to favour the kitchen a little bit more. But interestingly, no mirror on the side of Epsilon, despite the fact that mirror is available.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. She's a very powerful operator on this site. You can get yourself wedged into Sunrise Bar around the walls that Blur is currently reinforcing. Just behind that sort of hard wall, shields you back from the Sunrise Bar entrance, and you can keep yourself in there and keep a look over Blue Bar and Office, especially if that wall gets opened up at some point. So, yeah, surprised not to see a mirror on the board, but I'm sure that Epsilon have got a game plan. I'm surprised overall all night, really, how little we've seen Mirror to say that she's not been banned out. We've not had any major shift in meta. At the, you know, we're still on the live build as it stands at the minute, the Grim Sky build. So, you know, I'm a little bit surprised by that. She's been still very popular this Pro League season and the competitive season. So, I'm not sure. Sometimes you do just get, you know, differing strategies even within a region. We've watched majoritively French teams tonight, so, you know, maybe that's just a little, you know, a little nuance of the siege in that area. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It allows us to see something a little bit different. And we've got, unlucky, we've got a team kill from Blur, hitting that Alder shot onto his teammate, and not only a team kill, but it's the Legion off the board. So that is a huge loss of resource. Less than a minute into the round, I'd estimate he's probably going to have lost about 6 goo mines there potentially, maybe 5 if they are lucky, but they've certainly got Milan in there, still trying to hold Office with a pretty hard hold there, but I think Rascasse just showing some patience here. They've got themselves in upstairs. Yogurts is no doubt going to put those impact grenades to good effect, unless PX can hit the nitro, which he can. Blur makes up for that early misdemeanor and gets a kill onto Voice, so that now leaves Epsilon in a man advantage, 4 versus 3.
Yeah, Epsilon now looking in a good position to take this round, especially as PX picks up a kill onto Liven. So that's going to be taking Jackal off the board. So any last second tracking ability that Jackal may have, he is no longer going to be on the table. So ultimately, a very good hold from Epsilon. They've managed to keep composure. They haven't actually lost a man to the opposing side yet. As you said, there was a team kill in the early stages. Renshiro there just holding a pretty tight angle, just waiting for Shermie to move off his reinforcement. But Shermie's got no real reason to move at this stage. So just sort of, you know, ticking the clock down a little bit without really realising it in that scenario, as Renshiro is still holding this angle, desperate to get a kill from this position, but I just don't think he's going to be successful. There's no reason for Shermie to make a move. There we go. Milan is going to pick up a kill onto Falco, and it is now all down to Renshiro in this position. He does actually manage to pick up that kill onto Shermie, and if he wallbangs that spot, he'd have picked up that kill, but PX is going to wait for the vault audio cue and pick up that kill. So another good round in the book for Epsilon. They seem to be managing to chain things together a little bit better now. At the first couple of rounds, maybe just them warming up a little bit, getting used to the sort of stage that they're playing on, do you think?
Absolutely. You know, it's you come into this and you're playing a team that, you know, you don't play these guys day in, day out. I'm sure that they probably scrim each other sometimes, but, you know, you keep things in the bank and you're going to see new strategies coming out. And like you said, just, you know, the whole CCS stage and everything else. It's the first week, as you said, much earlier in the broadcast, we've only got 7 weeks to go out. Everybody's playing each other once, so every opportunity to pick up points here is super important. So there is definitely pressure there for these players. We're talking about a $10,000 prize pool. You know, this is not pocket change that they're playing for. So the pressure is definitely on to pick up these results in the early stages and, you know, try and get themselves as good a start as they can and stop the other teams building that momentum. No surprise to see PX coming back out on the pulse. Had a fantastic round on the pulse in the last couple of rounds. Last one especially, and we're going to see a kitchen defense this time from Epsilon. And I just feel like the momentum is with them at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's certainly been a shift, and it's shifting in their favour, and they're doing good things with it as well. They're kind of taking the aggression that Rascasse are bringing and Rascasse's play style, and they're doing the best to try and use it against them. I think it is something that you did say earlier, and it's something that's worth noting, is that when I was speaking to PX, I did get the chance to ask him a couple of questions, and he did say that historically they have struggled against French teams. So this, all things that kind of play into each other. There are a lot of French teams in the CCS this year for EU, so it is something they're going to have to get used to playing. But ultimately, is it maybe showing a little bit? Perhaps, there do seem to be certain different things that are maybe playing out a little bit differently. But ultimately, I think they're doing a fantastic job this far. And we've certainly got a game on our hands. I mean, none of the games tonight have been so clear-cut. They've all been very good games. They've all been back and forth. And I think it does just go to show the level of competition that we've got this year on the EU side of CCS.
Honestly, tonight has just made me think I cannot wait for Wednesday. I cannot wait for next week. I really just, I'm looking forward to so many of these fixtures already. Like you said, just how close these games have been so far tonight. The first one we saw, first map go to overtime. Second map was very close. I think 7-5 off the top of my head, or 7-4. We've got a 4-3 situation here. Nobody is running away with these, even though the early rounds have suggested that might be the case. Teams have come in and got 2 or 3 quickly on the bounce, but nope, no runaways, and people are showing great resilience to come back into it, which is exactly what Epsilon have done so far. We can see the Zofia of Yogurts there, just putting in the explosive grenade to clear the barbed wire out, so we're potentially going to see a push from that kitchen window, but PX is going to be well aware of the presence there from his heartbeat scanner, I'm sure, and he's just dancing around with his nitro out, ready to make that toss if he hears the sound of anybody jumping in through the window.
Yeah, PX proving a little bit of a demon there with the C4, and I think he did just manage to miss that kill there onto Voy. Caster's Curse, Milon picks up Falco, Yogurts picks up PX, and the grenade kill from Voy onto Fipsy on the stairs. Well, what can you say about that? That was beautifully timed. Milon as well, going to be sitting on very little health, so it does look as though Rascasse is taking a slightly different approach to this. The diffuser is going to be down there, and that is going to afford Voy the opportunity to get that kill onto Milon and just finish that off. Milon was on very little health at that moment in time, so it's going to be all down to Blur and Shermy to see what they can do in terms of holding off this attack from Rascasse. Renchiro's maybe not aware that Shermy's so close to his right, certainly not, as Shermy picks up that kill, bringing the man count back down just a little bit in their favour. Now going to be 3 versus 2 in favour of Rascasse. Blur there going to be jumping onto his Evilizer. Shermy's putting some pre-fire shots down onto the doorway. Time is of the essence though, but Voy is going to pick up Shermy in the rotate, and the diffuser is going to go down. Blur distracted from a different angle and not able to find that kill there onto the diffuser planter. So Blur's going to be in a tough spot now. He's no doubt going to expose himself, and Voy is going to pick up that. Oh, Yogurts is going to beat him to it. I thought that was a gimme for Voy. He was in the corner just waiting, but Yogurts was saying, no, you're the fill-in this week. I'm picking up that kill. I'm the one that's going to have stats moving forward on the screen in the pre-game, so I want it for my KD instead. Great round there.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic round from Rascasse. I think for me, the making of that round was that nade from Voy onto Cool Vibes. It just really seemed to spur them on. It put them at a real man advantage at that point. I think there was a little bit of, I don't want to say an error from Shermy, but with 25 seconds to go on the mute, he was a long way away from sight, and he got easily caught out in the rotate back to sight. I think, realistically, he needed to be thinking about that a little bit sooner than 25 seconds left to go, because the diffuser was going down at that point, and it left Blur on his own to try and sort of cover himself and to try and deny the plant as well. So yeah, I'd like to have seen a little bit of action from Shermy before that point.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a slightly different story if it was maybe Blur that was off-site and he had the use of the evil eyes at that stage. But like you say, for the mute to be offside, for the mute to be offsite at that point, maybe just a little bit of an oversight. But sometimes you do find yourself in that position where, you know, he was playing the Sunrise location, he was trying to fend off the attack from that side, and all of a sudden the attack moves around. A very easy rotation for outside. They can literally just walk down to kitchen single window, and all of a sudden they're there. But, you know, Shermie, not privy to that knowledge, doesn't want to expose himself, and all of a sudden that's where you find yourself. But, you know, nothing to take away from Rascasse. They did a great job. They seem to be picking things back up again. All of a sudden, they're leading themselves to within a couple of rounds of match point. If they keep going the way they're going, you know, that match point's going to come. It's going to come to them. So they've got a decent lead as well at this point. They can kind of, not relax. I'd say that this, if you really want to stack the pressure onto Epsilon, this is a must-win round, because all of a sudden you're really going to be putting it on them if you do win this round, because obviously you will take it to match point. But we are going to see the kitchen defense yet again. So, you know, would it have been time maybe to just switch things up a little bit and try a different defense?
Yeah, I think on a map like Coastline, that would definitely have been an option. As we've already discussed, so many viable options. They would still have had the choice of any of the sites, I believe. Or if not, then they certainly had the two upstairs sites of Hooker and Penthouse. So, yeah, I would have liked to have seen them just mix things up a little bit and don't bang the head against it. There's no need to on Coastline. It's not like some of the maps where you've got to, Border, for example, you're looking at armory and ventilation, and then outside of that, the other two start getting a little bit tricky. So, yeah, you want to stick around those two. Fipsy just getting in with a good early kill onto live, and that's an excellent operator to take off the board, the Jackal. So that's just going to afford them a little bit of extra breathing room for players like Milon on the Jaeger on the roam, and I'm sure they're going to try to make that pay as best they can. They've got Pulse on the drone there, so they know exactly where Pulse is located. If they can possibly get in above them and start working those angles vertically, I'm sure they might have a bit of success there. Voy on the sledge, I'm looking at you to get yourself in above them and just start opening up those floors. But we see two crowding around the single window, and Voy, as suggested, looking to get himself in to VIP, but PX will get the kill onto Renshiro, and VIP is going to be defended heavily by Shermie, but he will lose his life in a quick turnaround from Falco and Voy with a double kill. But Milon gets the kill onto Yogurts just to maintain that man advantage. PX again having a great round on the Pulse, unfortunately losing his life, but getting a kill before he did. Blur and Milon will step up and finish that off for Epsilon, so that will be round number 9 going in favour of Epsilon. A successful kitchen defence this time.
Yeah, very successful. I think at a time it certainly looked like it could have gone the other way, and maybe a bit of a missed opportunity from the Rascasse. Maybe if they'd have, they pushed upstairs just a little bit differently, it could have. I think I'm not sure why Renshiro. I think Renshiro jumped in through single window, and I'm not too sure why at that point he did that, because they'd not really gained full upstairs control yet. I think Voy was waiting to go into VIP. He just picked up the kill on to, I believe it was PX, I think, playing up there on the mute. So he just picked up the kill and he was ready to get in and start, raining some hell down on the floor and really pushing people out of awkward positions. And I just can't help but think we maybe should have waited for that a little bit before proceeding onto site. But as we said, they are in a good position at this stage, Rascasse that is, purely because they did have that little bit of a lead to play with. So they've not left themselves in any must-win round situations just as of yet. But with the scoreline reaching 5 versus 4, they're not going to want to be sitting on that for too long, and they are going to want to make sure that they get this next round in the books. Again, we're going to be seeing no mirror brought from Epsilon, despite the fact that mirror is available. Although you can't really argue with any of the operator choices so far, because everyone seems to be doing a very good job of playing said operator, and I don't know who you'd want to switch off who to give yourself the mirror.
No, as you say, very good choices. I've liked the composition of these teams. It's just something, different to what we used to, what we're familiar with seeing on these sites. But as I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you do just need to swap things up and just get a different angle. So we're going to see a blitz brought this time, talking about getting a different angle. That's no doubt going to be used to try and just support this top floor clearance. They need to be dealing with the roamers better. As you say, Voy got in there and took Shermy out, but just didn't really get any opportunity to then, sort of take any advantage of that situation. So I'd like to see that blitz used potentially upstairs. Get in there quickly. You can see Falco already heading up on the rappel. Let's get in. Let's get proper top floor control, and let's start working from hooker and billiards just down towards this site to put some pressure on. Renshiro moving upstairs as well. Can use that glass rifle to open up any hatches that haven't been secured.
Yeah, Glass can do a fantastic job of that. Also, we've got Buck as well, so we've got a hell of a lot of soft destruction here. Yogurt's there just desperately trying to find an angle downstairs onto the server corridor, as it were. Falco there going to push that point, and I think he may come head-to-head with... oh no, maybe not. He is going to come head-to-head with somebody at the bottom of blue stairs, and that is going to be both Milon and Shermy. So I don't think a blitz is even going to be a good idea for that 2-on-1 push, but it does look as though Epsilon are going to rotate out. They're not pushing this point. They don't need to expose themselves. They've wasted a lot of time. We're nearly halfway through the round by now. So they've done a good job of wasting a bit of time, and it's just going to give Rascasse something to think about in terms of can't we push that, and it leaves them opportunity to rotate, get a better angle, and just get ready for the inevitable bloodbath to come. Renshiro going to be pretty insistent on peeking that sunrise window, but we've got PX on the pulse. PX has done a fantastic job so far on the nitro cell, and I'm sure that isn't going to change. We're going to see some thermite action opening up into blue bar, but it looks as though Epsilon have got good angles covered here. Oh, Yogurt's there going to get a great opening kill for his team onto Shermy. That's going to remove Shermy from the main lobby area, and all of a sudden that's going to provide a little bit of freedom to rotate for Rascasse, as they've now got pretty much all of the east side of the map to go at in terms of rotation. But Fipsy there going to pick up that kill onto Yogurts, and it looks as though Blur's going to get aggressive. Just manages to miss his shots though. Jumps straight into his evil eye just to see if the plant is going down. Renshiro in a bit of no man's land here. He's got an angle onto the Maestro, but he's not really able to do all too much with it. ADS there going to be eating up a very valuable smoke grenade at this point. That is not what you're going to want moving into the final 20 or so seconds of the round. You can hear the evil eye there just coming out as the diffuser just gets fake planted there, and Fipsy goes down in the fray. Liven taking him out. PX well positioned to take out the blitz here, but the blitz manages to pick up that kill. Blur is going to pick up one of his own. 2 versus 3. Blitz gets a knife, and Liven closes things out with a kill onto the Maestro of Blur, and that's going to be another great round in the books for Rascasse.
Absolutely explosive round there. I think Blur's probably going to come out of that kicking himself that he didn't get that kill onto Renshiro as the glass when he peeked out of Sunrise window. It was definitely there for the taking, but I think it was one of them where he lined up his shot, and Renshiro, whether he got a sixth sense or not, I don't know, but he just stepped forward at the right time and just made some of those shots miss, and then he managed to turn and challenge and just force Blur back behind the solid wall. But yeah, great plays there from Rascasse just to build that attack slowly, get themselves into a good position, and then push forward. And they just caught people on the rotate. They forced Epsilon to move, and that was all that they needed really. Voy coming out to say that he's transferred in. Look at that, 11 and 5. I won't go as far as to say carrying just yet, but certainly having a very, very good game on the castle.
Yeah, he's not a bad player to draft in, it seems, certainly for getting frags anyway. Can't take that away. Obviously, you've got to have a good support network within your team to be able to get frags as well. So that is always important. It isn't always about the kills, it's about how you're able to get in the position to get your kills by what your team is able to do for you. But moving on to match point now. So this is going to be a must-win round for Epsilon if they do want to try and take this first map. However, Rascasse are certainly going to be after this round, and certainly going to be after trying to close this one out just where it is. Blur there just deciding on where to put his evil eye. Obviously, you want to have a good line of sight whilst using that thing to be able to deny the plant. And what about that pistol for being able to open up those holes? Maestro really is a very, very powerful operator, and I'm so surprised we don't see more Maestro bans, than what we do. We've seen very difficult bans this evening. But yeah, for me, that Maestro, unbelievable operator. We've seen him pick nearly every single round this evening.
Seen 2 Clash bans and no Maestro bans. What does that tell you? I think, obviously, it was Valk and Echo taken out of things here. I think probably Maestro has got more value than Valk on coastline. In many situations, like you say, it's just that Alder. It's absolutely devastating. And the Maestro cams as well, being able to see through the smoke. They just have that sort of extra level over the Black Eyes. But Renshiro is going to be peeking here. He knows he's there. Is he going to get the shots? No, he doesn't, and Fipsy, meanwhile, will take Yogurts out. It looks like Renshiro putting shots onto PX, but he just escapes with his life. Voy once again, though, steps in for his team, gets the kill onto Shermie and takes Castle off the board. That brings us to 4 versus 4. We've got people lit on both sides of the table, and you can hear Renshiro just working that glass rifle again. He's opening up some holes for himself so that he can operate from service. He needs to be confident, and I think he is. He's got Voy behind him, so he knows that he's going to be safe from that service area, and he's just going to start working his way and seeing if he can pick up any kills into kitchen from those holes that he has made himself. But meanwhile, we've still got Fipsy upstairs with Legion, and that is a rotate that they're definitely going to have to deal with. For some reason, they've got Falco on the roof as the blitz. Now, having somebody up there as to watch the rotations is a great idea. You can get a ton of kills as people rotate around. Fipsy, however, challenges Falco, and guess who loses? Because he's only got a pistol from the range of the roof. Falco, really not sure about that decision, and it leaves them now 4 versus 3. Epsilon in a little bit of ascendancy in this round.
Epsilon is certainly well positioned. They've got 2 operators that are pretty lit, but Live in there is going to pick up that kill onto PX. So that is just going to deter their chance just a little bit. But we've got Renshiro and Voy both very lit as well. This is a really nice angle from Milan upstairs. He's pretty sure that there's going to be somebody downstairs, but he's just not quite able to pick that kill up. But Liven's going to just walk around the corner and get the kill for free. That's going to be an easy kill onto Milan, and that is going to be absolutely pivotal at this point. Liven now is going to be looking to get another, but I think that Rascasse are going to have to do something. They're pretty well spread out at this point, and there's only 20 or so seconds left. The diffuser is outside as Renshiro is going to push his way in on the glass, smoking it out as he goes, but Blur is almost certainly going to get this kill, and he does manage to pick up that kill. Phipps is going to pick up another one. All of a sudden, this is looking great for Epsilon. Live in there, going to pick up the kill onto Blur. Is it going to be enough? He does manage to pick up the diffuser, and the diffuse is going to start going down. Both these players very, very lit. Fipsy going to make his way through the rotation hole. Doesn't quite manage to see him. Pre-fires the wrong spot, but does ultimately manage to get that kill by the skin of his teeth. And that's going to keep Epsilon in this game for one more round.
And that was close. Fipsy coming in, like you say, just hammering the shots at the bomb, which is maybe where you would have expected that plant to be going down, just offering a little bit more cover. Get yourself in a head glitch behind there and get the bomb down, but I just really don't think there was time on Rascasse's side in order to do that. He just had to get it down where he stood. He was down to 1 second before he started planting that. Strange choices from, like, why on earth was Falco playing on the roof as Blitz? Are you going to flash a lot of people from up there? I just really don't understand the mentality there.
I can only think that he was going to drop, jump off roof onto the little balcony bit and jump into luggage, or maybe jump into aquarium. And I can only think that he was going to go up there, do some drone work for his team, and kind of work things out from there. But ultimately it just wasn't enough. And I think if there's one operator you'd like to have in any sort of situation as an attacker, it's a Blitz. It's a great operator. It's overpowered, and his ability to be able to flash people and get kills and work alongside an entry fragger is just unparalleled. So I'm not sure why we didn't see him maybe going in with one of the fraggers, but ultimately it's almost a bit of a mute point now. Epsilon did a great job of clutching the round, but Blur played a fantastic angle downstairs in Sunrise, just was waiting it out and picking up that kill, leaving the diffuse in a nasty place. And ultimately that was what won the round, I guess. But we are still going to be on match point for the Rascasse. They have got one more chance at redeeming this. before we do inevitably go into an overtime. Obviously, Epsilon are going to be very keen for that overtime at this point. We did get teased a frost by Shermy, but he did 6-pick out into the Doc. Doc proving a very, very valuable operator in this situation, especially the way that Epsilon play. They do play with a decent amount of roam. So they are going to be able to revive people from a distance, obviously with the stim pistol of Doc, which can make a little bit of, going to get a bit of a spawn kill there, no doubt. Live in there just eating some early shots. Not quite sure who that was. I think Shermy's maybe peeking something else. It was perhaps maybe Blur on the Maestro. I'm not too sure. But that's going to put Liven down quite a significant amount in the early stages of that round, which, you know, it really can wake you up. That if you start thinking about it's match point and you're going to die to a spawn peak straight away, you know, it can really sort of focus your mind a little bit. And he's going into this round with less than half health.
Yeah, the last couple of times that we've seen the kitchen defense from Epsilon, they did particularly well last time by holding that upstairs control. It was about a minute left on the clock before Voy managed to push his way in and get the kill onto Shermy up there. So I think that's something that they're going to be looking to do again. But like you say, just coming out with that early aggression as well, you know, is that going to serve them well or not? Only time will tell. Sometimes, you know, they've not tried that at all so far this round. So sometimes, you know, you've just got to go for it. Stick your head out of a window, get yourself an early kill potentially. But Liven did well. He reacted well, got himself back. And one thing I'm noticing considerably different here is they've lost top floor control early. And that is not something that happened last time out when they won this site. Shermy is getting himself upstairs on the rotate. But as you can see, all 5 of Rascasse are in there. And this is going to be difficult. PX is going to be feeding those locations into Shermy, no doubt. He's going to start looking to see if he can challenge, but Yogurts has just got a view down there. I think he knows Fipsy is on the Legion, and Rascasse are being very careful here. They're definitely holding the flanks, they're definitely holding the angles so that the Falco buck can just work its magic and start penetrating through into the sites and getting those vertical options. Voy gets the kill onto Shermy, Yogurts gets the kill onto Fipsy, so that is, as I said, both of those people trying to potentially roam upstairs and cut them off have been taken out by those flank watchers, and PX takes damage for his troubles as well. I think that Epsilon are in a very difficult position here. Not only have Rascasse gone and got good top floor control, something they failed to do last round when Epsilon won this site, they have also watched the flanks very well. Yogurt's getting another kill, finishing off PX, who was already damaged. We're now down to 2 operators, both left on site, and this is not going to be easy for Epsilon.
No, this is certainly an uphill battle. Blur's going to do his best by taking out Yogurts, but Voy is going to trade him straight back out in the process. Milon, once again, left as the last alive on his team. Very similar to the way that the first round went. And we're going to see this be a very, very difficult job for him. We often talk about breaking these down into 1v1, but with the amount of upstairs control that Rascasse have been able to achieve, he's not even going to be able to make his way into the site. It looks as though Rascasse have got a pretty good idea of where he is going to be as well. And Milon's left with no other option but just to kind of hold onto Cool Vibe Stairs. Gets one down, does get a kill as well. So all of a sudden he's brought this back to a 1 versus 2, but as you can see, the time on the diffuser is running out. Renshiro there just going to hit a bit of a TK maybe for the stats, I'm not so sure. Milon out of time, out of luck, not able to get that diffuse down, and the Rascasse are going to take the first map.
Excellent games there from Rascasse. Just to finish that out, certainly not easy. Epsilon putting up a very good fight, but top floor control was definitely the difference there. And I think particularly the flank watchers, they managed to pick up the Doc and the Legion, and that left them in a very strong position. So that will see Rascasse taking Coastline just before we move on to the second map of this best of 2, which will be on Consulate. We're going to take a very short break here at CCS, and I mean very short indeed. So don't you dare go anywhere. We've got a fantastic match to come, I'm absolutely sure, as Epsilon try to battle back from 1 map down. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. That was you crossed by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me.
Joining us for the conclusion to our second match of the night, we've got Epsilon versus Rascasse. We've just seen a fantastic first fixture played out on Coastline where Rascasse marginally took the win. Excellent players from both teams throughout, and this time we are going to be heading into our second map of this best of two. Epsilon looking to come back with a draw, Rascasse looking to get themselves off to a strong start and a win in week 1 of CCS. We will be playing out on Consulate, and I'll hand over to X for the bans.
So we're going to be wasting no time there. Epsilon taking out Glaz. Little bit of an unusual attacker-defender arrangement there. Blue is actually going to be defending first, and orange is going to be attacking first. So just to clear that up for anyone that's unsure. But yeah, Glaz is going to get taken off the board pretty much straight away, and it is now going to be down to Rascasse to decide who they want to remove from this situation. And it is going to be the Dockerby. So Dockerby seeing a pretty heavy ban thus far. We didn't see a Dockerby played on Coastline either, although we did see a Glaz played to quite good effect. So probably not a bad idea for banning that on Consulate, but you know, always the potential for a Blackbeard ban on Consulate with all the repel potential that there is. Of course, we are playing the new rules if you are only just joining us, and Lion is permanently locked in the deepest, darkest dungeon that Ubisoft own, probably on an Assassin's Creed map somewhere, no doubt, but that's where Lion's going to be for the time being. Lion, a permanent ban, not able to be banned or picked by anybody playing, so it does open up the bans just a little bit on the attacker side. Going to see the Echo. I think Echo's probably seen a 100% ban rate tonight, has he? He's not been around very much at all. And Mirror there going to be the final ban. So Mirror, first time she's going to be banned tonight. Not it's not impacted the teams too much. They've not been picking her all the time. I think that team's been gravitating a little bit toward the old Maestro, which Blur will waste no time in picking. We saw him do some fantastic work last game, or last map, should I say, on the Maestro. And going to be taking us downstairs straight away to Caf and Garage. So, you know, sometimes you see teams wanting to go up to top floor first, but looks as though we're going to be going down to Garage to see how this all throws down. No Valkyrie ban, Ace.
A little bit surprised by that. We've got the Mirror ban. Mirror certainly not as effective on this map as she has been on some of the other maps that we've seen where she hasn't been banned. Mirror definitely more effective on Coastline, and I'd argue Bank as well, and she's made it through on both of those. Been banned out here. I mean, yep, she helps to hold against an admin push. She can assist on a garage hold, but certainly not essential on either. So I think there's probably more worthwhile bans that could have probably come in there. Consulate, another roam heavy map, you know, potential for a Vigil ban, potential for a Valkyrie ban. But that being said, we're not going to see the Valkyrie played here, so you know we'll see how that pans out. I really like a Valkyrie for garage potentially. If you can get that cam far enough out, up towards that far end away from the garage wall, you can just help on the bandit tricking, but no bandit either, so it's almost as if they're giving up the garage wall.
Yeah, I mean they've got the mute there that they're going to be able to sort of place the jammers down, and mute juggling is obviously a lot more tricky than bandit tricking. Plenty of utility available on Rascasse to try and do away with any mutes that are going to be down there. But like you say, just giving it up like that, Falco in the first 30 seconds of the round, probably the first sort of 25, is able to get both of the garage wall panels open, and that's going to afford them a lot of line of sight into the objective, and it's going to make PX feel very uncomfortable for a large portion of this opening round. They're not even making the full push from there. They're actually going to be making a bit of a push from elsewhere in the map, maybe down blue stairs. It looks as though we've got some guys that are going to try and take some upstairs control, just to be very thorough about this whole process. Live in there, just holding an angle onto the drop down hatch, sitting there with the LMG over on IQ. Not something that you do see all the time, although LMGs are pretty popular amongst some people, in this game that can deal with the old recoil. But upstairs control does seem to have been gained. We've got Jaeger at the top of service stairs, going to come into a little bit of a skirmish there with the IQ, and just managing to get away with his life, and that's going to be Milan rotating back down into sort of archives area, it does seem.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised by this. They've Epsilon have banned out Mirror themselves. They were the final ban being the defenders, so they've banned out Mirror themselves. But then they've given up garage door, and that's given line of sight all the way back through to cafeteria, because they've had to open those walls up to get the line of sight onto garage door. So I'm a little bit baffled by it, but we'll see how it plays out. I think they've just made their own life a bit difficult, but PX getting a very good kill there, reverse onto Voy. That's going to take the book off the board. He's done a lot of his work in piano there by opening those up. We've got the thermite of Falco. I'd expect to see potentially the Blackbeard of Renshiro getting himself down to that garage breach and just having a look in, but instead he's going to be playing from the rear side, although it looks like possibly on a rotate now to yellow stairs. Whether he'll get himself outside or not is yet to be seen. Falco does have the diffuser in hand, but PX is yet to be moved out. Falco is going to move in. He's going to get hit hard by the Legions though. Fipsy with a great kill onto Renshiro. Shermie getting the kill onto Yogurts, and PX finishing off Falco. Great defense from Epsilon. I've got to hold my hands up. I didn't think it was going to be possible. I thought they had a bit of a dodgy operator lineup there and giving garage up early, but maybe it just was that false sense of security, and it just brought Rascasse onto the sword, so to speak.
I think that the dodgy operator lineup was potentially on the other side. To be able to get the garage door open that quickly, it was literally 25 seconds into the round when the first panel was opened, and then they did absolutely nothing with it for the remainder of the round. There was no operator that could provide any sort of smoke cover, any sort of assist to a plant, and then they just ended up pushing the rest of the map, if you will, and just trying to pick off roamers or stragglers here and there, and kind of just losing 1v1 gunfights, not getting themselves into trades. And ultimately, I think for everything that they gained in that opening 20 or so seconds, Rascasse just didn't really do anything with it, and it was kind of easy for Epsilon just to sit back, not expose themselves all too much, and pick up some good kills along the way. So got to take your hats off to Epsilon there. Really, it didn't really look like it was going to go their way, but they managed to play in a way that really assisted them in what they were trying to do. They're now going to go to middle floor and try the hand here. Obviously, Glass being taken off the board does make this site a little bit more palatable, but obviously you've got the Blackbeard there, who's going to be able to provide a little bit of a head glitch, no doubt, from outside if the diffuser does manage to go down in this scenario. But that's obviously a couple of minutes away. Yeah, we're going to have to see how Epsilon do at defending this site, but based off the defense of the first bomb site on this map, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, seems like it. I think ultimately that's a bit of a misstep from Rascasse there. They've just failed to capitalise on that. If they play that in a different way, I think it would have been very easy to start pressure in sight. We're no doubt going to see a good upstairs hold here from Epsilon. I would expect to see Rascasse trying to get up there and get everybody cleared out. Renshiro looks like he's going to head up to the balcony and start applying some pressure to the meeting room potentially. Fipsit jumps out and will get absolutely melted by Renshiro on the Blackbeard. And it looks like we're going to see a couple of operators just pushing into admin as well. So they definitely want the top floor control here, and that's not too much of a surprise at all. Shermate still trying to hold meeting, just moves himself into connector as well. And it looks like we've got a man on yellow stairs, potentially ready to rotate and support as well. But we will see, obviously, how that one pans out depending on how the round goes. He's no doubt going to just move to support wherever he's needed. We've got Falco now moving in with Boy. You can see we've got Yogurts up there as well, so we've got 3 on top floor. Blur has moved up off yellow stairs into bathroom. Shermie and connector. Milon gets the first kill onto Yogurts from the spiral stairs, so that will bring us back to 4 versus 4, and this top floor take is starting to look a little bit more difficult. It's still in the balance. Rascasse can still do this, but they will need to get those 2 kills, I would suggest, without losing a man now. And if they don't get them and they try to rotate back down to site to start applying pressure there, I think they're going to struggle to start thinking about getting a plant down.
Yeah, you've got to be focusing your mind on trying to get a plant down at this stage, but just look at how easily Milon is able to rotate. He's one of the better players for this ability, and that's just being able to locate himself in a position where he's able to just very loosely play, not really commit to anything. You can see there he's kind of just playing around the spiral stairs, but Void there does manage to pick up the kill onto Blur. So that's Castle out of the picture. That's one of the kills you were talking about that they need to pick up without losing a life, and they have done just that. But again, time is ticking down against them. Renshiro going to make his way in. He's going to get hit by a Gumine, which is going to give a pretty good audio cue as to his whereabouts. PX there going to probably provide some shots upstairs, but the beams aren't playing in his favour for that particular angle, although he does manage to pick up that kill onto Renshiro, and Falco trading it straight back out, picking up PX. Shermie going to take out Falco, 2 versus 2, 20 seconds left on the clock. Grenade's going to come out there from Voy. I think it may just destroy a bit of the barbed wire in that position, but Milon again, he's played this whole round from the spiral stairs area and he's not been challenged one little bit. He's just going to wait for the drop to come, picks up the first kill onto Voy. Not live and is going to make his way into the side. Does manage to pick up 1 kill, but the diffuser is not in hand. Milon knows all he's got to do is run away, and the diffuser is not able to get planted. That's going to be a good round in the book for Epsilon. Yet another one onto Coastline, taking this series so far, or this map so far, 2-0.
Great players from Milon, as you say, just kept really dominant control of that spiral stairs area, and that made it very difficult because he wasn't really an upstairs roamer there to be cleared out, but he just kept joining the fight as needed and just hassling that flank for Rascasse, and they just really struggled to come to terms with that, I think, and to deal with it. They did manage eventually to get that top floor clearance, but just not quite enough. Epsilon were playing that quite risky. If you notice, they actually, I think, lost 2 men on runouts. They lost an early one to Shermie, sorry, not I think it was Shermie who died, sorry, to Renshiro on a balcony run out, and then they lost one on the main door run out as well. So they were sort of playing it quite aggressively, but I think maybe just missed opportunities from Rascasse again there.
Yeah, again, it's a shame when they did such a good job taking the first map. But as we've seen tonight, it's not unusual for teams to sort of flip and flop, and this could just be Epsilon's, couple of round win streak, and then Rascasse are going to pull it back with a couple of rounds, and then, it's going to be a big, overtime to finish. You do never know the way that these maps play out. It's a multitude of things could happen. It is, of course, Siege, and anything is possible. But we're going to see Fipsy this time just switching it up. Usually Fipsy we see on the Legion. This time we're going to see Blur on the Legion. Usually we see Blur on the Maestro. This time we're going to see Fipsy on the Maestro. So a little bit of a switcheroo there. Just trying to keep things fresh on Epsilon. Sometimes players have specific ideas that they want, specific ways that they want to play, different sites or different locations. We can see there Fipsy with a very deliberate Gumine there onto the windowsill in one of the windows in admin. So, maybe that's something that he likes to do, although it does look as though Liven is going to pick that up on his IQ scanner, call it out for his team, and Falco there is just going to take that out. So it is a non-factor. But, a little bit of time wasted, a little bit of something to think about. Not sure how effective it really is when there's an IQ doing this much good work, but I would imagine that the IQ is being brought purely for the sort of Valkyrie cam reason. I know there's a lot of utility that you can use. That's a bit of a wasted C4 from PX. He's been so good with the C4 all night, and to see him just sort of whiff it away like that and then lose his life to Yogurts on the rappel, that is a bit of a shame, and that's going to cost Epsilon ultimately. To lose an operator like a Pulse so early on in the round. I mean, we're a minute in now, so I guess it isn't so early, but it's still pretty early. Admin control is now established, and Yogurts is going to move his way through into the copy room and just see what else is there for the taking. Boy, they're going to be backing him up with the book, just making some nice multiple holes as a bit of drone work now. It's going to come out from Rascasse, but they're looking in a lot better position to take this round than they have done in previous rounds.
Renshiro just looking to put some work in on that DMR from the balcony window, and as you say, you just start getting the feeling here that Epsilon are being pushed back, but we've seen this before. We've seen this already so far, that it looks like Rascasse have the stronger position due to, operators that may or may not have been brought and just map control at the game, but Renshiro getting the kill onto Milan there. I just at this point wouldn't put it past Epsilon. Ooh. But Renshiro with another great kill from the balcony, almost a sixth sense there, knows he's going to get peaked from the connector, turns around and gets a good kill. Fipsy will get one of his own back onto Voy. The soft wall is going to be opened directly into the CEO office by the looks of it from Liven there, and he's going to get himself deep into sight. Now, if they don't know that Liven is in there, he doesn't have the diffuser, but it's going to make him very dangerous. As you can see, he gets one headshot onto Fipsy. He's going to finish it off with a second onto connector. How about that from Fipsy? Brilliant plays. Got the breaching charge onto the soft wall, recognised that hadn't been reinforced, and that is exactly why it is dangerous to leave that open. Not one of them reacted to that wall being breached. They must not have heard it, or just must not have realised where it was coming from, and basically Liven had 2 free kills. Great players.
It does just go to show the power of the breaching charge as well, often overlooked, in favour of claymores or something that you feel will lead to a direct kill. But the ability as an IQ there to be able to open that soft wall, breach in, and be able to pick up a couple of kills, especially when the top of yellow stairs has been castled off like that, you kind of do think it's going to be pretty safe. You don't often see people rappelling up the skylight in that fashion. Fantastic round there from the Rascasse, and I think that this is definitely something that they can now look to build on. We did see a little bit of a change there. Blur struggling for kills, you can see, not really picking any up for his team. Going to be back on the Maestro in the usual configuration, if you will, with Fipsy picking up the Legion again. But hell of a lot of castle play we're seeing tonight, and we can see there that Shermie's baited the Valkyrie pick and then switched out last minute or last second on the 6 pick for the castle. Now, last time that we saw this objective, we did see very early control gained by Rascasse. They were able to open up the garage wall very quickly. There's no reason why they're not going to be able to do that again at this time, although they do have Hibana as opposed to Thermite, so the job is a little bit messier. You're maybe not going to get as cleaner, bigger hole as you would perhaps like, and you certainly won't be able to get both sides open either. So a little bit of a difference there in terms of which hard breach is perhaps better to open garage. But there's very little to stop Rascasse from actually being able to open that. We're going to have a mute jammer. That's easily dealt with a grenade from Book, and the mute jammer can be easily identified from the IQ. So you can see there all the different counters and different plays that are going to feed in. But having said that, last time opening the garage door didn't really do Rascasse all too much good. They weren't able to do anything with it. They didn't have any operators that were able to smoke out the bomb site and assist in getting a plant down. And there's not really any different this time. We're not going to see any smokes on the side of the attackers. Maybe the best operator to kind of watch over a plant would perhaps be the Blackbeard, I guess. But even then, you're going to be facing a bit of an uphill battle, especially when you're looking at dealing with Evil Eyes, etc. So Yogurt's going to be making his way in upstairs as the Thatcher, a little bit unusual. Usually we would expect the Thatcher to be, getting the mute jammer off garage wall, but it does look as though they're not really going to bother with that. Like I said, it didn't do him too much good last time, so there's not really any reason to try and do it again this time. Pretty slow progress so far. About a minute gone out of the round. You know, a bit of upstairs control gained, a bit of good drone work been done. But ultimately, I think Rascasse are going to be looking to try and build on that last round a little bit more, and you know, take the initiative here a little bit. Just try and push for some early kills.
Completely agree, and as you say, it looks like they are just going to hold off from Garage Wall and just try to push from the rear side of site instead. Possibly Yogurt's just moving down yellow stairs as well to apply some pressure from that angle. That said, Falco is still outside, so whether they're going to just try now and open it late into the round, I don't really understand the thought process of leaving it to 1 minute 15 and then they're opening some, you know, really random sort of peepholes in there, but you know, there's nothing they can work in through to actually get a plant there. So again, they know now that the push is going to have to come from the rear of site, or from yellow stairs in order to get a diffuser down. So they're definitely going to need some kills before they start approaching site here, or this is going to be an uphill battle for Rascasse. You know, less than 50 seconds on the clock and we've got Voy running up to top floor. I'm just not sure, but Liven moves in, gets the first kill onto Shermy, gets things moving for his team. Thatcher will be dispatched by PX though. Milon gets the kill onto Renshiro, Voy trades it back onto Milon, so that leaves us now in a 3 versus 3, but with only 30 seconds left to go. They really need to start thinking about how they're going to get onto site. Liven picks up the kill through the piano floor. Are they just going to play this for kills? PX is down, and that leaves Fipsy to take one back onto Voy. 2 versus 2 now. RQ and Hibana left, and that will be Blur getting one onto Falco. And I think honestly Rascasse have just left themselves with too much to do here by not opening up that garage door in a way that could be a threat. Fipsy moves in, final kill onto Liven. I have to say that Rascasse lost that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, last time we did comment that opening the garage door didn't do him any favours, and I think that this time the way that they opened the garage door didn't do him any favours. Like you say, maybe a vaultable hole at best, and then a kind of head height, you know, just a single use of an X-Kairos at a head height doesn't really provide all too much of an angle when you start thinking about looking into garage. There's plenty of little hiding spots there, and really the only way to do it is to use a thermite and open up a really big hole. But obviously you're not to know that. Bomb site choices. Maybe Epsilon done a pretty good job of going back there just to pick up that win. Obviously, it's you know, hindsight for us is pretty you know, fortunate thing that we've got, and you know, we can kind of call these things out as we see them. But going to be going back to lobby and press room, favouring that over upstairs in console office. Obviously, they did lose up at console office, so it does make a lot of sense to go back down to lobby and press room. We're going to see a relatively similar lineup. Now, how are Rascasse going to deal with this upstairs roam? Because last time it really hurt them, and I think it's something that they've kind of got to really commit to this time in terms of making sure that they're able to gain that upstairs control, root Milan out of spiral stairs, which I've no doubt is going to play again because of how effective it was, and ultimately get the plant down and you know, get some kills on the board. Because Rascasse are in a pretty difficult position at the minute. They're almost in a must-win round, and I can't help but think if they lose this, it really just starts to slip away, and a draw looks very possible.
Absolutely, and you've hit the nail on the head there. I think they have to deal with this top floor situation a bit better and a bit quicker than they did last time. That said, let's look at this from Epsilon's point of view. More of the same, get themselves upstairs, just wedge themselves into bathroom connector area and just keep themselves alive for as long as possible. One thing I would like to see is let's avoid those runouts this time, Epsilon. You tried 2 last time on this objective and you lost both of them, so that effectively put you down to 3 men without any kills gained for it. So let's just avoid that unnecessary aggression. If you've got a dead cert, then obviously take it on, but otherwise just keep yourself alive. 3 of you up top. No surprised to see Voy moving onto the spiral stairs windows this time, so that's Rascasse just recognising and reacting to those successful Milan players from last time, but it doesn't look like he's going to be catching anybody out just yet, and we definitely have a bit of a standoff as we're almost a minute into the round, and the Rascasse team know that they've got multiple operators upstairs to deal with, but just not too sure that they know how to start approaching this yet.
No, and you hit the nail on the head again. You can see there a minute into the round, not really all too much dealt with. Ranchero knows there's going to be someone playing underneath that. That's exactly where he died from last time. We've got a guy playing behind the projector room bench, or the table, should I say. And he's just kind of got himself on the rappel there, not really able to do all too much with it. And this upstairs control is something that Epsilon are really going to hold on to with both hands, because they know that as soon as they give this up, it's going to allow the players of Rascasse to kind of progress a little bit further. You can see there Fipsy playing behind the deployable shield. And he's determined to get that kill, but Shermie's going to open things out with a kill onto Ranchero, so I'm not sure where that actually came from, but Milon going to get one as well onto Falco. 2 quick kills. And you can see there Milon just rotating back down, but is he aware that Liven is waiting this time? Liven there managing to pick up that kill and getting a bit of a late trade on that, but a trade nonetheless. Trying to bring the man count a little bit further into Rascasse's favour, as we currently sit on 4 versus 3 in favour of Epsilon. So upstairs control still has not been gained. We've got Blur upstairs waiting in console office. He's led down behind the desk. He's heard the drone, but I'm not sure if the drone has actually seen him at this stage. Yogurts knows someone's there. Sixth sense kicking in, and that's going to allow Blur to rotate back down the hatch. And all of a sudden, he's wasted a hell of a lot of time down into the final 35 or so seconds. And ultimately, there's not a great deal that Rascasse are going to be able to do from this position at this point. If you're going to take upstairs control, you need it quicker so that you're able to actually get kills with it, because all of a sudden, you're going to have to start getting the plant down, and with the amount of goo mines that are out there, they are certainly going to slow that process down. Void desperately trying to find a kill, and does find his first one onto PX. And he's going to throw a grenade in and try and get another one, but Fipsy's going to take out Liven. 3 versus 2. Sledge is going to drop. Very, very lit. Fipsy and Shermie there going to pick up a kill. Shermie going to pick up a double for the finish, and that's another great round in the book for Epsilon. They just did exactly the same again, but even this time a little bit better in the way that they were able to rotate back down onto site without losing very many lives at all. And it does look as though we are going to hit a rehost. We have unfortunately dropped a player from the Rascasse. So I think it is going to be a rehost. The current round count is, of course, 4-1 in favour of Epsilon. We are moving into the final round of Epsilon's defensive phase. And if they come out with this, then they're going to be very well placed to take this map and take it to a draw. But obviously, Rascasse aren't going to want to let that happen. They're going to want to come away with the dub. So they're going to have a little bit of time in this rehost to maybe compose themselves. We've seen rehosts previously do great things for teams. You talk about momentum shift. You talk about a little bit of, well, there's no better way to put it, the momentum shift. The momentum shifting from one team to another. Epsilon, they're on a bit of a winning streak at the minute. They're doing very well for themselves. And Rascasse maybe just struggling a little bit. So it all depends on what they do now and how they compose themselves in these couple of minutes as to how the rounds continue henceforth.
Yeah, excellent plays from Epsilon so far. Pretty dominant, really. The top floor hold on, for a lobby objective, their top floor hold has been fantastic. Rascasse just haven't been able to get to grips with it. The end of that round just felt like a little bit of desperation from Rascasse, just dumping grenades through the floor and then dropping hatches very, very late into the round, and they just never really got to grips with it. But we will just throw things out to a very short timer for you while we get this rehost sorted. We'll get all the players back in, and we will be back with you as soon as we possibly can for the no doubt exciting conclusion of Epsilon versus Rascasse. Hello and welcome back. We are getting the players into the lobby as we speak for the conclusion of Epsilon versus Rascasse. Fantastic game so far. We saw Rascasse come out on top for the first map of Coastline, and it could be that we see our first draw here in CCS. We're playing best of 2 now, and Epsilon are currently in the lead. So we are on Consulate. We will rejoin this. I believe it was 4-1, was it X? 4-1? 3-1, 4-1?
4-1, I believe.
I believe it was 4-1 to Epsilon, and they are so far absolutely dominating their defensive phase. We are on the new round counts of 6 defensive phases followed by 6 attacking phases. And at this point, Rascasse are going to have to do something special to beat Epsilon here on this map.
Rascasse just don't seem to have much of an answer for the way that Epsilon are bringing this map to them. And it's not that Epsilon are doing, any spectacular strategy, or they're not using an operator in a way that we've never seen it used before. In some cases, they're actually giving up a lot of control and just doing a very good job of playing certain locations that they're deciding are going to be key to this defensive round. We've seen great plays from pretty much every player across the board. I know Fipsy has picked up some fantastic kills, and especially in those final seconds, you are always hearing the little noise of a goo mine going off in the background. Milon's done a great job on the roam as well. So there's no single thing that I can point to and say this is why Epsilon are doing fantastic at this particular map. But we are going to see a split bomb site. So up to now, we've seen them favour garage and lobby and press room. We've seen them go upstairs once. This is going to be the last defensive round that they are going to play, unless we do go to an overtime, and they are going to switch it up and take us to the split bomb site. So not something that you see all the time. Be interesting to see how this team choose to defend. And I think it'd be more interesting maybe to see how Rascasse deal with attacking this, because I can pretty much bet that they're not going to be expecting this bomb site at this stage.
Yeah, it's always Archives is any split bomb site is particularly difficult. It just adds another sort of layer of difficulty, because even before you start, you have to separate your team. So you're talking potentially 2 or 3 downstairs, 2 or 3 upstairs, depending. If you then want roamers, you're then thinning yourself out even further. For whatever reason, it just stretches you further than anything else. It looks like Epsilon are going to be applying quite a bit of resource to try and hold garage, which is always a popular method here. Falco on the Monte just pushing in as quickly as he can, putting shots out there. Yogurt's getting the first kill onto Blur. That's going to take Maestro off the board, and that was part of that late setup. That's a very, very good start for Rascasse. They need to get themselves into garage quickly now. And a lot of teams that we've seen have been doing this, but how about Milon coming in there and getting live and on the flank? He's just going to bail. He's going to get himself back to top floor, probably rotate all the way around and come back to site. Great plays from Milon to level things up and take that Ash off the board. As I was saying, a lot of teams have been sort of ignoring one of the sites. When they go in for an attack, they're just focusing on the basement or on the towers. It looks like this time we're going to see all the Rascasse team pushing from garage, and that will mean an Archives attack.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit difficult when you've got to start dealing with this split site, and I think that Pulse really comes into his own, because as soon as you start thinking about going upstairs into Visa, Pulse has got pretty much free reign on pinging where you are, and obviously the Nitro cell in hand to be able to get some kills. You can see there, Pulse is actually running the shotgun, which can be devastating through the floor, and couple that with the information that he's able to gather on his heartbeat sensor, and it's a pretty lethal combination. Monty's managed to push into Archives, but he's not really going to be gaining his team all too much apart from information at this point, purely because he's not actually able to influence much at this stage. The defenders are saying, yeah, we can see it's a Monty, but we don't really have to do anything about it at this point. We can just kind of hold back. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where Rascasse have to make a pretty bold move in exposing themselves to be able to get any sort of a kill. And you can see there Shermie punishing Yogurts for doing exactly just that, overexposing Fipsy on a bit of a slow and late flank. He's going to be coming down through the garage. Renshaw there going to be picking up that kill onto PX, and he's going to pick it up with a second onto Fipsy, so a great sixth sense there, maybe even a flank drone in position to make that call for him. But that's going to be a really good 2 kills there for Renshiro, and the plant should start going down pretty much any time soon, as Monty has got the diffuser. The smoke grenades are going to come out. Shermie going to be making his way up onto the deck inside Archives. Diffuser has gone down, but able to do all too much about it. Renshiro's going to pick up his 3rd kill of the round. It's going to be all down to Milon in this final situation. He's maybe not even going to be able to get the kill onto Monty at this point. Put some great shots down onto 2 of the enemy team, but the Monty is going to be the one to close it out in the end. Very unfortunate for Milon there. He did a great job of trying to clutch that round out for his team, but ultimately the Monty just providing the right amount of cover and at the right time to be able to pick up that final kill. And that's a much needed round for Rascasse at that stage.
Woo! I really thought Milan was going to finish that off there. Pretty sure he got the down onto Renshiro. Flip round got the kill, and then it was just left to the Monty. But he did exactly what needed to be did. Didn't take too much of a risk. Falco left his shield pretty much in place and just went with the hipfire pistol kill and managed to get his man. Milan was lit at that point, and it was only really going to take 1 shot. So great plays from Rascasse there. I think, you know, it did look at one point like it was just in the balance a little bit. But I think it came down to what I said about those split sites. You know, by attacking one floor, it sort of just takes a couple of the Epsilon players out of it, and it makes it very difficult for them to have any major impact on the round, and it just allowed them to sort of segregate out. I think, to be honest, the turning point for me was Renshiro when he flipped round and just got that kill on the rotation coming through cafeteria. There must have been a good drone in place there that shouted that out for him to know. There's no way he heard that from there. So great plays from Renshiro there, and that double kill really spurred his team on to win that round.
Yeah, certainly, you definitely can't argue with that. I think maybe a little bit to be said for Blur's early death on the Maestro, just that late setup, really punishing them there. But Rascasse taking good advantage of it and making sure that they were able to, you know, take advantage of that late setup that was going on and pick up a kill, from the position that they found themselves in, taking advantage of the situation. So you really can't argue with that at all. But I think that Epsilon is still in a good place to take this map. They've got a couple of round head start now, and it's all going to be down to how the Rascasse are able to defend this in terms of keeping Epsilon out. We've seen Epsilon did a great job of defending downstairs in Garage. Are they going to be able to do a great job of attacking downstairs in Garage? We will have to see. Doesn't look like they've got themselves a thermite, which can prove a little bit of a problem, but it looks as though they're going for a pretty comprehensive roam clear. They're going to be making their way up through admin. Although there are no players playing from Rascasse upstairs. We've got Castle in Tellers downstairs only, but he is going to be positioned along with Voy, who together they could definitely do some damage, but they're going to choose to rotate off and play themselves a little bit longer into this round. Ooh, we won't know how close he was. Fipsy there just narrowly missing out on an angle downstairs. One of the great things about Consulate is that pretty much all the floor upstairs is soft destructible, so you're able to get some great lines of sight down onto the corridors and really slow some rotations down, and that's exactly what Fipsy's doing there, just by opening up a lot of the floor. We got Yogurts providing a bit of a flank watch there, just making sure that no one's going to peek up the service stairs and on into theatre room. That's another one of the holes that Fipsy's made, so you can see there, this is a very well thought out attack from Epsilon. They've got people watching flanks, but having said that, live in there with the SMG-11 is going to punish Milan, and I think that was maybe even through the floor, or if not from the bottom of yellow stairs. That's going to be the first kill of the round. But we're over halfway in at this point, and he's going to pick up another one. PX is going to pick up Voy, but Yogurt's going to trade it back out and get Shermie. So all of a sudden, Rascasse looking in a good place to take this round, as it seems as though Epsilon have just taken the time really getting to this point.
Yeah, Yogurt's on a very, very casual roam there, very casual flank, just manages to pick up a good kill. But the pressure is starting to mount a little bit on Epsilon now. They've got 59 seconds remaining, and they've definitely still got a lot of work to do. There's 4 still on the board. That Fipsy having to move quickly after dumping that nade to get rid of the castle. I think it just bounced back at him a little bit. Yogurts and Falco working well together. Falco gets 1, but PX will take Yogurts out, so that leaves us 3 3 versus 2. PX gets a second to level things up, squares it away, and that leaves us 2 versus 2. But we do have Renshiro and Live and 2 very successful Rascasse players today. They've both had great spells, and they're both on full health, lodged in sight, and this is by no means going to be any mean feat. Liven getting the first kill onto Blur leaves PX with it all to do, but Liven just steps around, switches onto the SMG, and gets the kill to close things out for Rascasse. Now that they're on the defense, are we going to see a different beast here?
Yeah, potentially, and we talk about momentum shift quite a lot, and you can see what's happened after this short rehost we've just had. Epsilon went into that 4-1. We're now sitting 2 rounds later at 4-3, and all of a sudden it's looking like a very realistic possibility for Rascasse to be able to take this next round, bring the round count level, and then ultimately go on and win this map and the series. Epsilon there just really struggling to get anything going. I think they made good progress. Fipsy did a fantastic job of opening up a lot of lines of sight, but unfortunately they didn't really have a plan beyond getting upstairs control. As soon as that was established, they kind of just got picked off from the floor below. They were able to pick up some good kills, but ultimately no plan. I think that opening the garage door just gives your team such a focus that it's always worth doing, because you don't really lose anything by opening it.
Yeah, it's not just about like the focus for your team. It then has to become a focus for the defenders. There's there's no choice then. If the garage is open, you cannot ignore it, and you've got to have 1 or 2 guns looking at it and monitoring it at all times. So, like you say, even just by opening it up, it just stretches the defenders. Whereas they're in a position there where they could stay out on the roam, because it didn't really matter. The garage door hadn't been open, so the attack can only come from one direction. So, like you said, just leave the roamers out there, and they had an absolute field there. Moving in. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, there wasn't even any pressure on yellow stairs. Usually you'd expect the yellow stairs door to be open, a few shots to go in, and kind of try and, poke around there for a kill a little bit as an attacker, but there wasn't even any pressure over there either, so it did just seem a little bit off. But again, you can't take anything away from Rascasse. You see there Renshiro going for a Valkyrie camera. In a couple of weeks, that will hit the moon. You won't need to aim nearly as high as that just to hit a measly palm tree if the changes do translate over from the TCS.
IQ, I'm sure, going to be putting in some work, Blur, to try and spot those cams, but if he doesn't, it could spell danger for Epsilon, because those Valkyrie cams can be so essential on Consulate. She can always be a worthwhile ban because they are absolutely deadly. We see Milon just working on that wall early on onto Console, just trying to open up the top of it and see if he can get a view into the small closet area, but he won't get any joy just yet. We've got Falco at the top of yellow stairs. Is going to take a little bit of damage, but not too much at this stage. He's going to hold his angle for the time being, because he really does want to hold them off this window. It certainly looks like a yellow stairs push as it stands from Epsilon, but it can be dangerous because it does become such a choke point when they funnel up there.
Yeah, that yellow stairs spot is very popular for Jaegers to hold, purely because they can get their ADSs there and really bunker down in that corner. You see there Renshiro just unfortunately wasting a nitro cell as Ying makes her way into bathroom. So that's going to be PX on the Ying. No Candela's left. A Candela would be really nice at this stage to help her get out of bathroom. Milon going to pick up that kill onto Yogurts. I think maybe from the skylight, not 100% sure. Renshiro going to push him for that kill, but doesn't manage to pick it up. PX is going to punish him for being hasty. Falco going to get the kill over onto Fipsy. 4 versus 3 in favour of Epsilon. Is this going to be a bit of a return for Epsilon? Unfortunately, Falco just takes his eyes off the bottom of yellow stairs at the wrong moment as Blur is coming up. Voy going to pick up a kill onto PX, who is still in bathroom, and a minute left on the clock. 3 versus 3. We've got Shermie out on the rappel. Falco going to pick up that kill. So Falco's done a great job of playing yellow stairs, been able to rotate off, get back into B side and get a kill. That's dropped the diffuser downstairs. He's going to get juiced up by Voy, although Voy is going to lose his life in the fray. 2 versus 2 as Milon picks that kill up. The diffuser is going to be down outside, so that's probably not going to get picked up at this stage, as we have only got around 50 seconds left. Blur has taken up position on yellow stairs as Milon. Is he going to go and get the defuse, or is he going to get the kills? I think he's probably wiser to try and get the defuse at this stage and maybe look at getting the plant off, but It is going to be a tall order. Blur making his way up to the top of yellow stairs. Falco is going to be pretty well dug in connector, knowing he doesn't have to peek all too much. There's still potential for a Valkyrie cam to be knocking around in the site, as well as shots coming from the SG11, but don't manage to connect to Blur. Going to see an Ash charge get pushed in, and that's going to push Falco out. Liven pick up a kill onto Blur. Milon picks up the kill onto Falco as a trade. Liven's in a very good place here. If Milon had gone and got the diffuser, he would be able to plant at this point, but he's going to be left with trying to get the kill, and the shotgun's going to do the work at close range. Liven there picking up the final kill, securing the round for Rascasse.
That was a really exciting round. There was a lot of backwards and forwards. I really didn't know how that was going to play out. We had the early push onto yellow stairs from Epsilon, which sort of stalled out, and I really didn't know where they were going to go from there. But then they managed to pressure the console windows. They managed to get a few kills of their own, bring it down to 2 versus 2, and at that point it was all to play for. But Blur and Liven just did exactly what they needed to do. Liven choosing his engagement well, getting it down to a close range by getting onto those stairs, and then just using the shotgun to close things out for his team. Great round from Rascasse, and that brings us to 4 apiece. And it is worth mentioning again, not to keep harking back to it, but Epsilon yet to win a round since that rehost.
We talk about it so often, and it really is something that we see playing out. And it's never nice to have to go through a rehost, because obviously there's all the confusion and there's a bit of a stop in play, if you will. But it does seem as though the Rascasse have taken the opportunity to recompose themselves, and they've come out the stronger for it. Like you say, they've won 3 rounds on the bounce since the rehost. And it certainly isn't doing them any harm this far. But then again, they are on defense now, and I think historically we've seen them a little bit more comfortable on defense, especially on the earlier map that we've played, Coastline. So that can play into it as well, different things. And obviously they are playing with a pickup as well, so maybe it's a little bit easier for them to deploy like a defensive strategy with a pickup player, as opposed to deploying an attacking strategy with a pickup player. Maybe there's a few more moving parts, and that's perhaps why we're seeing them use a few more vanilla operators, if you will, on the attack, as opposed to on the defense, where Voy seems to have pretty much full reign of whatever he wants, and seems to be gravitating towards the Maestro, which is obviously never a bad thing, as Maestro is a very good operator. But we're going to see a 5-stack spawn there, as Epsilon are looking to kind of bring this round back, because they need to establish themselves again in this game. I think it's 4-4. They've lost 3 rounds in a row, and they're really going to want to try and do something with this round. We've seen them play very, very good aggression so far. And we've seen them play very good calculated aggression as well, not just aggression for aggression's sake. And I think that that's something that I'd kind of like to see now, just really working as a team to try and take this map. Falco there, big shot's going to be coming in onto him from one of the repelling players of Epsilon, perhaps maybe Milon on the repellers. Milon gets himself in. Heavy drone work coming out, and that's really what Falco is trying to get away from at this stage. The drone is relentless. PX definitely going to be able to track if he so wishes with the Inox scanner, but doesn't appear to be doing so. Oh yeah, he has got him on track as we speak, so getting a good ping as to where Falco is, and Falco being on very low health, that isn't going to be a good thing for him at all.
Definitely a huge battle for top floor going on, as you can see. 5 versus 3 up there. We've got 8 out of 10 operators, 7 out of 10 as Ranshiro drops that down the hatch. But that's perfectly timed. He's wasted a minute and a half. There's no point giving your life up for it as well. We saw Epsilon defend this lobby objective twice very, very well, so it's clear that they have a good understanding of it, and they have definitely managed to clear that top floor out better than I think Rascasse did. That much is fair to say. Shermie getting the first kill of the round onto Liven, and that's also taking out a man who is currently hot, and he's getting in there and getting the kills, which he will now not be able to do. We've got Yogurts and we've got Falco both on low health, so this is looking like an uphill struggle when we look across to the Epsilon side and see that they've got all 5 guys all on full health. This is not going to be easy, but we've got Falco just looking to challenge up from basement and moving back up on the spiral stairs. We've still got Yogurts down downstairs. Voy stepping up, doing what he's been doing throughout the match so far, and getting that kill that brings his team level. Fipsy will, however, end Renshiro with a headshot. So that brings us to a 4 versus 3, 3 versus 3 as Falco steps up and gets the kill onto Shermie. So it's time for Epsilon now to start thinking about a plant, and Blur does exactly that, dropping himself in near round desk. Oh, and Voy moves in to try and deny the defuse, but Blur's asphyxiating bolt will stop him in his tracks. Falco, meanwhile, gets a kill onto Fipsy, and that leaves us 2v2, but look at the health that's left on Rascasse. 2 defenders, and they don't even have 50 health between them. They've got 2 kills to find against 2 full health operators on the attacking side. Ash and Capitao, 2 3 speeds, excellent guns. This is an uphill challenge, but do they know that Falco's on the defuse? I'm not sure if they knew. Blur didn't get the kill, but I'm just wondering if he could have made that stick or not. Yogurts was on round stairs. He could well have helped him, could well have covered him. Blur gets the final kill for a double on to finish things off. Great round from Epsilon, but I'm just wondering, could he have made the defuse stick there?
I didn't get to see how long he was on the diffuser for. It was only when the cam flicked over that we could see that, but it did look as though he was on the diffuse for quite some time, and you got to always question when players jump off the diffuser. You've got to be pretty certain that you're going to get that kill if you're going to come off, because I do believe if he'd have tried to make that stick, we could have been looking at a different end to that final round. But that is going to be Epsilon trying to re-establish themselves, trying to get back in the fight. They've dropped plenty of rounds on the bounce, and now it's, they've basically said enough is enough. They're going to try and get this round, and they're going to try and build on it from there. They've done just exactly that. They've got that first round in the book. They've now got to build on that. Cafeteria Garage, where I don't believe that we're going to see a Thermite played. I can't believe how little Thermite we've seen played all evening, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I guess the maps that we've been playing maybe haven't been calling for him, but Shermie does some good work on the Hibana, but I think if you've got an inkling that they're going to go down to Garage, it'd be really handy to bring that Thermite, because we did see last time that Epsilon did struggle for a focus, and they weren't able to open up the Garage in an effective way, and that really cost them ultimately. So it'd be nice to see them open that up, just put somebody on there to maybe, give Rascasse something to think about. I can see a lot of smoke on the side of Epsilon this time in the form of the asphyxiating and smoke bolts on Capitao, and obviously the smoke that we're going to be having on Jackal. So there's a very good opportunity there that Epsilon are going to try and play this for a plan, secure this round, and take this game to match point.
10 seconds to go.
Absolutely. It's no surprise to see Jackal. We've seen Epsilon attack this site only once so far. And as you rightly said, the roam game was absolutely rampant all over them from Rascasse. So that's something that they definitely need to stop in its tracks. So what PX does on that Jackal and whether he can keep himself alive is going to be very important to begin with. Looks like they're going to move in and try to take over top floor control. This is something, again, that they did very well last time. They gained a lot of map control very, very quickly. The problem is when attacking Garage from only one side, which I think they're going to do again. I don't think they're necessarily going to open things up, or at least not prioritise it. Ultimately, no matter how much map control you gain, it does lead to a choke point whereby if the defenders play it right, they can just slowly fall back as they keep challenging you and fall back onto site eventually. But we're going to see Fipsy come out with the first kill onto Void. That's going to take Jaeger, and that's going to be one of the roamers down, and that is exactly what Epsilon need to do that they didn't manage to do last time here. So if they can get, I would say, another kill, get themselves to 5 versus 3, personally I would then consider getting some holes at least, if not a walkthrough opened up in that garage door, and then they can really start challenging site with only 3 men on there, and believe me, it will soon become panic stations then.
Absolutely. Live in there, doing a fantastic job of holding upstairs, and he's done a great job all evening really of just being able to pick up those kills really when it counts, especially on the smoke. Hatches are going to be getting open downstairs into archives. Yogurts is going to be well positioned to just rotate down to spiral stairs to try and cut anything off that he may see. He's almost certainly heard Jackal dropping there, waits to the perfect moment to get the kill and gets that kill onto PX. You can see there he's not greedy for that kill. He's not trying to rush it. He knows he's got all the time in the world. Jackal had no idea that he was there. Milon, however, does have a little bit of a better idea, and Falco there going to pick up Blur for his trouble. So Falco doing a great job of just staying alive upstairs, playing the hatches to his advantage, and all of a sudden Epsilon have found themselves in a position where they're behind enemy lines. They've got players on the Rascasse that are still upstairs waiting for a moment to flank. Falco's going to be absolutely crucial from this hatch. He does manage to get some very good shots in down there, but Renshiro manages to pick up Shermie as Shermie is pushed out of position, allowing the Maestro to pick that kill up. Fipsy going to find himself in some smoke. Liven making that shotgun work at close range. All of a sudden, this is looking very good for the Rascasse and very bad for Epsilon. Liven with the final kill. Milan getting one for consolation, but ultimately it will be impactless as the shotgun does the damage with a quick double shot from distance, I guess.
So, Rascasse coming in, tying things up at 5-all. I would have expected absolutely nothing less tonight. I don't think we could have seen more rounds if we'd hoped to. We really have stretched each one of these matches out. They've been so back and forward, and all I can say is how promising that is for this CCS EU season. It's just been absolutely hyper competitive so far. We're going to see ourselves going back to console office again, and that will be Rascasse on their next to last defensive phase. They've got 2 left to go, and then that will decide whether we have a winner or whether we go to overtime.
Yeah, ultimately it's going to be a must-win round for Epsilon. This, I think, if they want to establish themselves in this later stage, they need to be doing the business, because they've kind of flipped and flopped. They've gone through spells of brilliance, and then they've gone through spells of just, I don't know if it's bad fortune or they're maybe just struggling against a better side. But they seem to be. They've got it within them to be able to clutch this out, but they just need to, kind of commit to it in a way. And I'm not too sure on really what that means, but I think the Rascasse are doing a great job of holding on to this, because they've come back from, quite a large deficit to get to where they are at this moment. And I think, it's one of those, you can't call it. It can go either way at this stage.
10 seconds left.
Last time we saw Epsilon attacking this site, they pretty much pushed the yellow stairs, and I think they really struggled to gain any sort of foothold there. They were held off fantastically by Falco on that Jaeger out on yellow stairs, and then they really had to shift late into the round and start pushing the single windows, and it just didn't go too well for them. So I'd like to see them maybe just switch that up a little bit. It looks like they're going to be applying some pressure from admin this time, which I think is definitely a good idea, so long as they can fight their way in there without losing any men. Literally as I speak, Voy takes out PX, so that is going to be Jackal, and that is a big loss. But Milon will do what's needed, and he'll get the kill onto Falco. Yogurt's getting the kill back onto Milon, trading that one straight back out. So that is 3 versus 4 at this stage. Epsilon have got it all to do, and they really did struggle attacking this site last time. Out of all the attacks that we've seen from them, I feel like this is probably the weaker site for them. And now that they're a man down, I think this could definitely be an uphill battle. Although Fipsy has got himself well into admin, so that's going to be good for him, except his Twitch drone has been left all the way outside. Maybe a slight overlook there from Fipsy, and it's just going to be a little bit of a waste of his utility. He's not going to have time to get that all the way upstairs now. We've got 2 players coming in from the copy room, and then we've got 1 coming in from the meeting room side for Epsilon. They definitely need a couple of kills before they start trying to push for a plant here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've said before, it's a very one-dimensional attack. We've not really got a lot of presence over from B. We saw fantastic work when Rascasse were attacking this objective with the way that they were able to push B and make it work for them that way. Blur is going to be on the rappel outside projector room, but ultimately no one's going to be playing in projector room. The Rascasse have got themselves very well positioned at the minute. We've got a player in bathroom, console, and the top of yellow stairs. And ultimately, it does look as though the Rascasse are kind of giving up A. I'm not sure if Epsilon are fully aware of that just yet. Blur there going to be picking up the kill onto Voy, as Yogurts is looking like he's maybe going to go for a run out here. But he doesn't quite manage to make it work at that kind of a range. And he's going to waste a lot of time on the rotate back into sight. Fipsy going to pick up a kill onto Liven. In the confusion, the diffuser has gone down. Ooh, Renshiro there just narrowly missing out on a kill as I think it's Shermie drops the hatch. Oh, Shermie's going to be lit as well. Fipsy's going to be down. Yogurt's potentially here for a double kill. Doesn't manage to get it. Fipsy gets the flick and picks up the kill onto Yogurt's. Renshiro picking up that kill onto Fipsy. It's all going to be down to Blur and Renshiro. The defuse is going to be stuck here, and is Blur going to recognize it? Yes. He's going to challenge. Renshiro's going to come off the better with still enough time to complete the defuse. A great round in the book for Rascasse when they need it the most, taking them on to match point.
Great plays from Rascasse. I was a little concerned at Yogurt's decision. I think it was the right decision to make that jump out and to challenge Blur on the balcony. But if you're going to do it, you've got to get it. And he just potatoed all over him, to be honest. I know it was at range and he doesn't have an ACOG as a defender. But even so, he's got to hit his shots there. And I think Blur's presence on that balcony was what allowed Epsilon to get the diffuser down. It's also a long way back into sight from there for a run out on Consulate. That's something else you've got to be aware of. It's going to take you probably at least 10 seconds to get yourself back into position. So a risky one from Yogurts, which, you know, it's one of them. If he pulls it off, we probably sat here saying how he, you know, stopped the diffuse going down and got rid of the cover and won the round.
Hero.
But, you know, exactly. He's, you know, it's hero or villain.
It's
one of them. It's one of them runouts. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out for him. That said, Renshiro, his teammate, managed to step up, win it on gun skill just by faking that diffuse, flicking onto the Capital with Blur, getting the kill, and then finishing things off for his team. Pretty impressive plays there, I've got to say, from Rascasse. I enjoyed that round.
Yeah, great round, and it puts them in a very good position. They're now on defence, on match point. They can really wait for Epsilon to play into their hands here. They don't need to do anything silly. They can just play their angles, get the trades, and make sure that they can cement this victory. But for Epsilon, it's a must-win round. If they don't win this, it's going to be a loss. If they do win it, the best they're going to be able to come away with is a draw. So a lot of focus from both teams here. Very big round coming right up. And we'll have to see which side it falls on. We've seen some great plays from both of these teams this evening, and I do think that both are deserved of this match. But ultimately, go on.
Sorry, it's worth pointing out that this bomb site is the only one that Epsilon have actually beaten Rascasse on from the attack so far.
Always interesting to get to get some information like that about it. I think that Epsilon did a great job of clearing upstairs, I believe, in that round.
Yep, I think they've got a very good understanding of this site and how it works.
Yeah, but they were very good at defending themselves, so that'll obviously play into it to some degree. And you can see there that they've not really wasted any time at all in getting into projector room, getting some footprints, and getting Yogurts on track. Yogurts is a player who, of course, has been doing very well recently. He's going to be almost cowering behind the reinforcement over in console office as the Capital Bolt comes out. Maybe a little bit of a wasted utility there, or maybe he was trying to get it through the window and through the rotation just to damage Yogurts a little bit. But the smoke grenades are going to come out, and Yogurts is going to get a peek onto PX, and he does manage to finish off that kill. He's going to get a little bit of aggressive now, and he's going to pick up another one. Is he going to get the third? He is! He's going to pick up a triple K, but doesn't manage to get the final. Milan there going to be taking him out of the picture and ensuring that he's not going to cause any more damage to his team. But Live in there going to take Milan out. All of a sudden, Shermie has got it all to do. 1 versus 4, over a minute and a half left on the clock. And what is Shermie going to be able to do with this? He has got the diffuser in hand, but I can't help but think that Pulse is going to be waiting. There he is. Pulse is waiting eagerly with a nitro cell from below and just going to bide his time. He doesn't really need to do anything in this point. The pressure is all on Shermie to make this play. And I think if you're Shermie, you've got to be looking at this thinking you've got a big uphill battle. Shots are going to start raining in from downstairs. Nitro Cell's going to come out. Is not going to do the business. Shermie going to be making his way upstairs a little bit further. But he knows at this point that the team of Rascasse have got a pretty good idea of where he is. Manages to pick up that first kill onto Falco, but he's wasted a lot of time in doing so. 45 seconds left on the clock. It is certainly doable, but he is going to get shot in the back there by Renshiro, and that is going to be the round and the game to Rascasse.
I think a fitting finish there. Rascasse just you know, for me, did have the upper hand through the back half of that. As soon as they got onto defence on Consulate, they really did start to stretch the legs. Epsilon only winning 1 round, so Rascasse taking that whole sort of that whole phase 5-1 overall, coming back from a 4-2 deficit to win that. So, you know, you've got to hand it to Rascasse there. They have not given up at any point, even when 4-2 down. They've just kept battling and battling and battling until they've got themselves back into it, and it really has been fantastic. I think we've seen some amazing plays across the board today, some really exciting teams. I know I'm definitely looking forward